Alright, so welcome back to Backmagoon's Best of Asia tournament for AoE 4. We've got loueMT here on Abbasid in the red trunks on the left side of the map, on the west side, and on the east side we've got Flash as English in the blue trunks and opening with an early barrack. So we're going to see some man-at-arms harass, possibly? I love me some early game man-at-arms. So yeah, we're here in the Game 3 of the best of 5, with both our players taking a game apiece so far. This is the first time we've seen Low step off Mongols in the series to switch to Abbasid, while Flash has played China and Mongols. I mean China and Abbasid, sorry. But early man-at-arms here. But the position of this gold mine will be quite hard for Flash to hit, realistically, because he can't just snake through here. He's actually got to head all the way down around here, or run around the far side of Low's base. So for a blind opening, things could not have gone worse for Flash. And obviously it depends a bit on where this hill is going to be, because we're here on loueMT, so there is random hills around the place. Sometimes you get lucky and other times you don't. So realistically, there's no way for Flash to get onto that gold mine in time to do any real damage here. It's hugely unfortunate. Like, if this was the gold mine, Flash would be creaming in his pants right now. But that's not the case. He's got to try and run all the way around the town centre. He's lucky that he's even got that much space. But even then, he's sort of super unlucky in the fact that he's not really going to be able to do anything over here. And I know with the new Fertile Crescent tech and with the changes to fresh food stuff, ultimately overall, it's never been a better time to play 2 or 3 town centre early Abbasid. At the same time, he doesn't necessarily have to go on the stone until he's already got a force of some horsemen or archers or something to deal with the man-at-arms at least. So loueMT, age up uninterrupted. He's only just shy of the gold he needs for Fertile Crescent, which is a little unfortunate. So, but it could be a lot worse for him in this position. Still says he's getting 98 gold a minute. It's funny how that takes a while to actually adjust to reflect the truth. It still says 60 gold a minute, and he hasn't been gathering gold for about a minute. I suppose it's an average of what he's gathered over the past minute is perhaps what that actually means, rather than an accurate description of what he's currently about to gather. And saying that with only a single man-at-arms chipping away at this, it's going to take a while. But the other one, just zoning that stone mine, while Flash is trying to go for a relatively quick council hall for opening with an early barracks here. Considering those man-at-arms aren't very cheap. But ideally you really only want 2 to 4 of them early on before you age up. Any more than that really sets you back in terms of your tech path, because they're just super expensive for an age 1 unit. Like opening horsemen on Mongols, but without the benefit of being able to just spend 120 free stone to produce a second one at a time. So range here for Low. It's going to be nice in the fact that he can kite and engage some man-at-arms from range, but even still, they're a high armor target, and they sort of don't really struggle all that much against your tier 1 ranged units, your archers. It's really only crossbowmen and hand cannoneers that'll actually stand a chance of rolling them. Looks that Low to back off, not quite able to bring down the mining camp. And bearing in mind, I believe it does actually have bonus armor from being, yeah, connected to the House of Wisdom. So it just makes Abyss a little bit more robust in the face of, you know, small melee unit aggression early on. And now Flash has actually pulled back the Man-at-Arms on the other side, but there's no archers yet to actually prevent him from denying the gold gathering yet. Lou's gone for a camel archer over a regular archer, so he's had to delay initially in the production. I actually know he's got one out, but he's had to try and chase over here. These guys will fare a little bit better than a regular archer because they are faster, they hit harder, got a little bit more health. I think they've got slightly less range than an archer, but even still, that movement speed does mean that they can engage and disengage from the Man-at-Arms that little bit easier. Flash is attempting to go on the gold again. See what damage he can done. It takes several hits. It's going to take 5 hits ultimately from a Man-at-Arms to bring down a villager at this stage. The beauty of these longbowmen, even longer range than a regular archer, even more damage than a regular archer. So they will compete well against these camels. So Flash is probably going to want to turn around and actually just kill the archers here. So he gets one of the camels, and bearing in mind these things are really expensive, twice the cost of a Man-at-Arms. So kill value is really favouring Lou at the moment. So this is overall army value, but in saying that, I mean, favouring Flash, but in saying that Lou, he's got Fertile Crescent, he's got the second town centre. He's in the position to get fresh foodstuffs. Just needs to get a little bit of gold first. So Flash, delaying that gold gathering. It's ultimately has been worth it, but he's going to have to keep this pressure up. Maybe try and find a way to get on the berries just outside of the town centre there. He's actually going to go for an aggressive tower. Just gives him a little bit more attack speed as well. A unique benefit to the English. But Lou now going to get the gold he needs to get fresh foodstuffs. Just going to mean it's half-price villages. Not going to take long at all to pay back once you've got 2 town centres, because you've only got to do 3 villages from each town centre then. Oh no, that's right, they've reduced it from 50% to 35. So you actually need, what's that, 8 or 9 villages? Even still, it's not huge. Especially once you've got 2 or 3 town centre production. Nice snipe there by Lou, but at the same time, that camel archer is going to have to get out. It's very low. He's going to be very careful kiting that spear, because if he loses a camel to a spear, it's really going to hurt him. So Flash definitely has the army size advantage at the moment, but Lou is still reasonably comfortable at the moment. I mean, that gold mine nice and safe, so he can start getting fresh foodstuffs just finishing up, and he can start getting eco techs, or even throw down a blacksmith if he wants and get some military techs. Flash trying to... He's just trying to go for anything under the town centre there. Not terribly successful, but the Man-at-Arms tanking the fire, so Flash not losing anything in the process at least. And loueMT going to try and connect everything together here. Because bearing in mind, he's still got to link up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buildings there, and if you can do so, put him on the path to getting that little bit more research speed, and ultimately you want to try and get tier 3 of your golden age. So this is more what I was talking about with Flash being able to engage and disengage on the villages with relative ease, force low to constantly garrison vills, and maybe even look at giving up the rest of those berries for now. Let's put some pressure on him to get on this hunt over here, because these berries not going to last that much longer if that's his only food source. Or he's going to have to try and move out over here. So Flash is going to add a gate. But it does mean that he's having to invest in all of that. I wonder if he's best off maybe even snaking around and trying to catch the villagers heading up towards the top here. Lowe's actually deciding against it for now. Opting to go for the hunt on the lower side of his base. Bearing in mind he hasn't gone for either horticulture or survival techniques. And survival techniques is cheaper on a quicker gathering food source. So train's a little bit quicker too. Spearman not going to be able to pick off that camel archer. Been a nice bait there by Lowe. Getting another kill out of that little force there. So Flash will be eager to try and put a bit of pressure on here if he can. He's got an idler there in that outpost. He's probably intending to put another tower up here if Lowe goes that way for food, but for now, Lowe's going to gather at the lower side of his base. Flash trying to force a fight here. Smart of Lowe to make sure that the town centre is focusing down the archers rather than the battering ram, because it's got a lot of armor against range damage. So Flash is having to try and engage and disengage with these longbowmen as best he can. They do outrange the regular archers, but the town centre is acting like a very nice keep in this situation. Lowe repairing the town centre through everything, and he's bleeding a couple of units out of Flash here. Well, Flash is also now mustered up enough to repel this force, but at the same time it's stopping him from reinforcing up here, and he's going to commit to 3 rams now, as well as taking ranged armor rather than opening with... Oh no, he's already got range damage, so survival techniques coming in for Lowe, so he's going to get faster hunted meat gather rate out of these deer. He's getting... He was going to get melee damage, but instead he's actually going to go for ranged damage. Already got ranged armor. So as and against English, particularly in situations like this, getting the ranged armor upgrade over all the other upgrades is actually quite a nice way to play things. Flash, you're going to bring down the second town centre. And while he is fighting, it's forcing Lowe to have to keep a lot of the eco here repairing and garrisoned. But at the same time, Flash probably wants to get outside of the range of the town centre as best he can with his longbowman ball. Even with the bonus damage and range they've got over the archers, it can be all for naught. So the second town centre there is going to go down, but it's going to cost several rams as well. And Lowe walks out of this with a much bigger army than his opponent, even though he's lost his economic advantage for the time being. It's only up by 8 villages and only on the 1 town centre now, but Flash, there's not a lot left in the tank by the looks of things. Oh, Lowe, oh sorry, I take that back. Flash has actually gone for a second town centre behind this, so he'll be able to close that Vil gap and then even catch up. And he can go for all these farms, English farms, half the price of regular farms, and on top of that, they actually gather faster. But Lowe now, the one with the more aggressive emphasis. He's got more army, but less town centres. But eager to try and get his value out of this. He's got a scary number of horsemen. White Tower for Flash, so rather than going for King's... Is it King's Palace? The Age 3 town centre landmark for English. He's gone for the keep. So definitely a much more defensive option rather than a macro option. Now we've got a second town center for low and a third. So he's going to be able to maintain that villager lead he's got, and it's not costing him as much to invest in all these town centers. He gets 100 wood and about 90 stone off the price because of that fertile crescent technology that he gets from the economic wing. The white tower is going to just about finish. Oh, actually no. Nice engagement here for low. Very rough here for Flash. He's having to pull back and losing more villagers in the process. There's a lot of horsemen to act as good tanks here. And again the white tower gets cancelled for the 4th time. There's just smouldering ruins all over Flash's base at the moment. He's down but not out though. It's a lot of idlers to have. And he's trying to find a space where Low isn't going to interrupt it. Who's now having the chance to go for battering rams of his own to take out his opponent's town center. The white tower will finish up. If it's not now, it's never, I think. Culture wing on the way for our Abbasid player, so he's going to get access to a nice technology cost reduction. As well as if he does intend to go for one later on, he'll get health regeneration under his keeps. Ooh, so a lot of villagers Flash is going to lose to this. He's now nearly thinned out the force of Low, and he is able to get that keep up. So he takes the quicker age 3, but he's got a lot of idle economy here. He's lost a lot of his economy as well. Low's back in the driver's seat with the villager count at the moment. Although his army size is only down to 10, so there'll be a bit of a break in play here while our players mass up a bit more, but it does look like Low's going to be able to just pump out man-at-arms, and if he really needs to, keep pumping out a couple of crossbows as well. Gonna get some archers too. But Low's got an impressive bank at the moment. Well, Flash, he's got a fair bit of wood here, so he might be looking to ramp up his military production, but he's also going to have to try and pick up his food gathering here somehow. Doesn't have a huge number of farms, so I guess he's probably looking to try and get a bunch of those thrown down as well. Low proving to be the pest here. But that knight's going to trade quite well here against 3 light units that don't get any bonus damage against him. So it looks like that knight's going to be able to clean up everything on his own. So that's very cost effective for Flash, and trades against these knights is largely what is keeping him in the game at the moment, I think. But with 1,000,001 man-at-arms and a handful of crossbows, it's going to look very scary for Flash here. He's trailing by about 20 villagers. Oh, and look at this. This is ridiculous. Man, what are we doing? Playing Age of Empires Online quests? Holy. 6 markets. Man. 7 markets. Unreal. That's a big investment from Low, but I think he's confident that he's got enough of a lead in economy in the bank that he can just look at doing something like this. But in saying that, Flash is bringing all of his knights across to try and possibly harass the lower side of his opponent's base here. Low trying to wall things off. He is continuing to add more and more to push in with. Villager's going to be able to pick off that knight, but when the wall up is going to finish. The cost of a couple of vills Low able to sacrifice some vills at this point. Okay, he drops things back to just getting 3 markets. Okay. That's a bit more sensible. Let's get a couple more villagers garrisoned here because nice harass here from Flash. Forcing garrisons, getting some villager kills. And the heavy armored knights able to tank the town center pretty well. Gonna have some crossbows come and clean things up here. No caravan production starting just yet for Low. Flash just mustering up enough of an army of his own to try and deal with this menace over here. These knights trying to find a way back out of the base of loueMT, who's done a good job at walling himself in just about completely here. I don't know if those knights are going to last much longer, but they are managing to get another villager kill there at least. Right now, military size a bit telling, I think. Though Flash, having a mangonel against an army of just infantry, obviously going to be a lot more impactful than the mangonel of Lowe's against an army that's going to possibly include some knights here. Oh, okay, so Flash has just been making knights out of the tower, but the keep, but now he's actually relying on it for his source of mangonels at the moment. There's a lot of rams there from our Abbasid player too. So loueMT finally able to clean up that last knight by the look of things. Nice, trying to wall off that market point here. But if Low can palisade wall somewhere here, he can stop it from being a complete wall off. It's a bit of a failure in the denial of the wall there. A lot of gold heading back home for Low, but meanwhile he's also just looking to try and shove into his opponent's base and go for an offensive keep as well. Flash holding on well, fighting under the keep, and he's got the mangonel, so Low's military advantage is slipping a little bit, but it is resulting in a fair bit of the base being taken out. Mangonel's not quite able to finish off all those villages either. So a nice wall off here for Flash. It's going to prevent these traders from really going anywhere fast. They're going to have to try and wrap around here until Flash is able to, until Low's able to cut through a section of the wood here. And man, having a keep so offensively placed is a real pain to deal with. That white tower focusing down the regular keep with the support of the Treb. Shouldn't take too long before Flash is able to clean this up, but at the same time, he's having to constantly try and adjust this wall path here because Low's willing to try and cut a gap for his traders. Very important because it's going to dictate whether or not there's triple caravan production for a fuckload of gold. And Low looking to get some siege of his own, aside from rams. I mean, he's already got rams, but you know what I mean. Flash forced to gather all this wooden awkwardest of spots, and he's actually leading to cutting another hole through his wall off there. Well, loueMT doesn't quite realise there's a wolf here, just slowly working away, nibbling on all of his villagers. loueMT looking to see if he can just snag a couple of buildings off Flash at the moment. And loueMT managing to win the villager war of attrition there. He's even putting a reinforced springled tower up. because with triple caravan production, man, if he can hold on to that after already having a slight villager lead, it's going to be very rough for Flash. It's Flash right now struggling a little bit for map control. Struggling a little bit for food, which is, you know, uncommon for an English player, but saying that he's trying to go all the way up to, what's that, 5 farms? And adding some more barracks now as well. So Flash's eco isn't in that bad of a spot, but I do think Lowe's is in a nicer spot. Well, this is nice for Lowe. He's parked some villagers right where Flash is looking to finish off that wall off. Flash trying to respond in kind by taking out some of these markets. But realistically, even if all these markets get taken out, now that they've made up so many caravans, there's a market back here for Lowe to drop off to still. The White Tower being focused down by the Rams. They're not going to be able to get it, but meanwhile, Lowe's actually sending his army in elsewhere to try and mess up all the eco. So really crafty of him, because Flash is busy trying to take out the Rams before it's too late back there at home, but he's losing villagers all over the place. These caravans are just going to run straight past the town centre. Man, this is a wild game. What a mess, but GG. It looks like Lowe has been successful in disrupting enough of Flash's eco that he feels like he's never going to make it out of this at this point. So takes that to 2-1